Hello everyone. I am Anna from GreenGeeks, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Leveraging Social Media to Build Your Agency, by our guest speaker, Christian Taylor, founder of Crayler Media. So welcome, Christian. We're so happy to have you here. And real quick, I want to say a couple of words about GreenGeeks for those of you who are not familiar with us or maybe watching the recording on YouTube. We're a 300% green energy web hosting provider, which essentially means we put back 3 times the amount of energy we consume from the grid in the form of renewable energy. We have been recognized by the US EPA since 2009 as a green power partner, and we offer share hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, and dedicated server. Now, more fun stuff. Let's talk about some housekeeping items for the webinar. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A so that Christian can answer them at the end of the presentation. You're welcome to chat in the chat room, and remember to select everyone if you want everyone to see what you're talking about. And as always, we're recording this presentation. So if you have to step away, don't worry, since we will be sending this recording to you in the next couple of days. Finally, we also enable live transcription. So if you want to read, you can enable them by clicking on the show captions icon. So now I'm going to introduce from our team, Erica Barbosa from the GreenGeeks team, who will be assisting us with chat and Q&A. Welcome, Erica. Do you want to say something, introduce yourself?
Thank you, Anna. Hello, everyone. I am Erica Barbosa. I am from Costa Rica. I work in the partners team, and today I'm going to be assisting the chat. Hope enjoy today with Christian. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Erica. A couple of words about Christian. Christian is a YouTuber, entrepreneur, and content creator from Nashville, Tennessee. His primary YouTube channel, Crayler Made, features content about online tech, including WordPress. Christian is passionate about sharing honest and easy to digest information with his audience of over 40,000 subscribers, and his channel has received over 6 million lifetime views. So welcome, Christian. Would you like to say hi and start the presentation?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm super excited to dive in. What's the best way to share slides? Should I share my screen, or is there like a way through Zoom to do it?
You can share your screen in Zoom.
Sweet.
There's a share screen button.
Yep.
Yep,
Right.
perfect.
Awesome. So everyone can see my screen?
We can see your screen. Go ahead.
Sweet. And let me see if I can get the chat up here. There we go. And the Q&A as well. Awesome. Cool. So, well, let me back up here. My keyboard's not wanting to work. There we go. All right. So today I would love to talk about leveraging social media to build your agency. And this is a topic that is really interesting to me because when I started doing content creation, that was never a goal of mine to do lead generation for freelance work. And in fact, the ironic thing with me is I usually end up turning away offers when people reach out and say, hey, can I hire you to do my website? But I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So I aim to show you how you can get started making quality content on social media that can generate organic leads for new clients. So I promise there's no ad spend required in this whole strategy. I'm not going to tell you go spend $1,000 a month on Google Ads. I found that's just not necessary. And I'll also show you how you can build an audience that becomes a new income stream through additional monetization opportunities. So you're not just doing this to generate leads for your agency. If you would like, you can also take that audience, monetize it in other ways, and that can become its own side hustle or business if you want it to. So a little bit about me. Anna already did a wonderful job introducing me, but I'm a content creator with a passion for tech. I've been making YouTube videos for over a decade, and I made my first WordPress related video about 8 years ago. I was dabbling with WordPress before that time, and I've always enjoyed the power and flexibility that it offers. And for me, the content I make has always centered around my interests. So that's why the YouTube videos came first. And then as I organically became interested in WordPress, I started to talk about it in my content. In general, I cover online tech on my channel, and a lot of that tends to be about WordPress, again, because that's been one of my interests over the past 8 years. I'm in no way a WordPress expert. I'll just throw that out there now. I'm a curious tech enthusiast who likes tinkering around with software, so I love doing the comparisons and reviews and just trying different plugins and themes and seeing how one is different from another. I just love experimenting with different things. So hold on, you might be thinking to yourself, I'm not a YouTuber. You in the audience, you're probably not a YouTuber, so where is this going? That's okay. I promise you don't need to be a professional creator to leverage social media to generate leads for your agency. You can apply these concepts to all content formats, so you can use this with text posts, vertical short form videos like TikTok and Instagram Reels, long form videos like YouTube and long form posted to X. Um, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Sorry. So, here's a brief table of contents of what I want to cover. I'll cover what I noticed as I was creating content, the secret, why I think my audience trusts me, practical strategies that you can use as a business owner to do the same thing, and then how to maximize your potential and take the audience you've built and turn that into an additional income stream. So let's start with what I noticed, and that was that my audience wanted help. I started seeing comments over the years like, do you offer consulting? Or getting messages saying, hey, I had a question about Divi, or getting emails saying, can I hire you to build my website? And to be honest, this surprised me. I know a lot of us out here have used the term YouTube University, or you'll hear someone say, I learned this from TikTok. People are using social media as a resource. Anything they want to learn, they can learn online. And people are also using social media to validate the credibility of professionals before hiring them. And I was surprised by this. I've always made YouTube videos because I'm passionate about creating content. So I never considered that my audience would see me as an expert on a topic and seek hands-on help. But the thing is, my audience trusts me. They can see my passion and excitement for the things I talk about, and they get to know my personality through my videos. This builds a unique trust between the viewer and the creator. So now let's move into the secret, why my audience trusts me and why they will trust you too. So what's the secret? Well, the secret is not posting daily or multiple times per day to social media. It's not constantly promoting your business. I know many of us have tried this. We're always posting to our business Facebook page about sales and offers and what we can do for the customer, and oftentimes that just doesn't convert. And nope, the secret is not doing giveaways. I promise if you give away a pair of AirPods, yeah, you're probably going to get a lot of emails on your email list and a lot of people signing up on your landing page, but those people are just in it for the free AirPods. They're probably not going to convert to paid clients. Instead, the secret is to bring value to your audience by educating them on a topic. So I've got some examples of the secret in action here. And I've seen this applied by a lot of different trade people, professionals, even people with local businesses. So this is Roger Wakefield. He creates content on YouTube and he's a plumber. He's able to leverage the secret by creating content that is helpful for the average homeowner. Here's an example of him making a video on how to flush your water heater the right way, something that I really need to do, so I will probably be going back to this video pretty soon. Here's another example of the secret, when to seed and fertilize your lawn in the fall. Again, just something that anyone can find value out of. And Ryan has a lawn care business, so he's restricted to a certain region to gain clients, but he was still able to build an audience online through sharing honest, easy to digest information that the average person can learn from. Here's another example. We have a tiler and he's showing how to tile a shower. And this is someone I actually found when I was doing a recent renovation in my home for a bathroom. I was ripping out a tub and completely redoing it. It's a full tile shower now. I've actually got some before and after pictures. So here's the before, a little bit dated. I'm not really much of a bathtub user. I just wanted a full shower. So I actually ended up consulting with Isaac, this tile creator. After watching his videos, I paid him $200 for an hour of his time just to consult with him and ask him, how do I know that I'm hiring the right person? What are some red flags to look for? Because if you've ever worked with contractors, you know it can be hard to vet people and know if they're doing a good job or they're doing something kind of sketchy. So I wanted to get that knowledge from someone I trusted on what do I look for? What materials should I buy? Are there any design factors that I should consider? And all that to say, here's the before and here's the after. And using Isaac's help, I was able to vet the right person. I was able to find the materials, the grout, just all the things to make sure that this lasts a long time. So these business owners have become trusted advisors to their audience and have a great deal of influence by being knowledgeable, accessible, and authentic. The reason that I ended up paying $200 for an hour of Isaac's time, that's the tile guy, is because I built a trust for him just through watching his videos. I saw that he was honest. He was trying different tile products, sharing which ones were good and which ones didn't hold up. And he was authentic. He was willing to say if a product wasn't worth using, or willing to say which method was really going to be the better route over another one. Now, the great news is your business has a local reach. So these people, these examples I just showed, they have local businesses. A plumber can't be everywhere at once. A lawn care person can only handle lawns within a certain radius. But your business as an agency has a global reach. You can work with clients all over the world. You aren't restricted to a region, kind of just said that. So here's the secret in action for my channel. I'm showing people how to build a WordPress website with Salient, a theme that I am a fan of, and people are just getting the knowledge. They're getting answers to their questions. They're learning step by step how to build a WordPress site, and I'm able to grow that trust with them as they see me walk through the process of building a website. So essentially, you want to attract an audience that is interested in what you're doing. DIY WordPress users look to resources on Google, YouTube, and even TikTok to learn the basics of the platform. And by the way, don't feel like you have to alienate the DIY audience or say, oh, they're not my target customer, because I find there's a lot of small business owners who are on the fence on if they want to build their website themselves or if they want to hire someone to do it. And by watching some DIY content and starting to get into the process, they may say, you know, this is more than I want to take on. Christian looks like he's doing a great job in the tutorial. I think I'd rather just hire him instead. So don't feel like just because you're making tutorial content, you're going to give away all the help to people and then they're not going to hire you. That's actually kind of the opposite from what I found to be true. Your audience just wants to see your passion and dedication to WordPress. And that's the beauty of the WordPress community. We're all about helping each other with no strings attached. In fact, your content should rarely, if ever, mention that you are available for hire. This is because your goal should be bringing value to your audience by educating them on a topic, again, with no strings attached. So in my content, I'm not saying, hey, I'm available for hire, reach out for a quote. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, I don't really take on freelance work because my full-time gig is creating content. That's what I love to do, is educating other people. So people are actually surprised when they email me and say, can I hire you to build my website? And I say, actually, no. So that was interesting to navigate when I saw people starting to reach out. But another thing that people will use your content for is to validate the credibility of a professional. I think I forgot to touch on this, but as I used with Isaac's content, the tile guy, I was really wondering, is the person I hired locally good? Do they know what they're doing? Should I be concerned if I see a certain red flag? What are the red flags? And that's something people are also going to do as they find your content. I get people that have reached out and they've done consulting calls with me, and they want me to look at their website and see if it was built well, if it's secure, if the developer they hired used a high quality plugin stack, or if they kind of just jerry rigged things together. And you never know if someone may reach out to you with that same situation. And if you can be honest and objective, they will trust you and respect you so much. If you look at their site and say, hey, the person you hired did a great job, I don't think you need me, or I don't think you need to do anything, they're going to have a lot of respect and know that you didn't just try to sell them on switching to you. Or if you can be honest and say, hey, yeah, this is kind of janky. They really did just jerry rig this site together, and I think you're going to have some problems as your traffic scales. If you're able to just be honest and authentic, you'll build that trust, and they may end up hiring you to fix their website or redo their website. Now, there are so many different types of social posts. There's text posts, images, short form video like Reels, long form video. I've seen 4-hour tutorial videos on YouTube on building a site from start to finish. There's so many different directions that you could go with your social media content. And all post types can be beneficial, but I like video the most. And there's a couple reasons for that. Video is an effective way to educate an audience with software since you can show the process of using WordPress. That visual is extremely helpful when people are looking to gain knowledge about how it works. Video allows you to provide to both visual and auditory learners, and it's also a great way to capture someone's attention as they scroll social media. If you're going for that vertical short form content, on TikTok and Instagram Reels, people are scrolling really fast and you only have a split second to catch their attention. So it is really helpful to use video and engage them as they're scrolling. So hopefully they'll stop and listen to what you have to say. Now, how do we put the secret into practice? Well, like I said earlier, it's not about making daily posts or wearing yourself out trying to be a full-time content creator. Really, you're just looking to make occasional videos and or posts on topics that your target client would be searching for, like tutorials on building a WordPress site, tips and tricks that took you years to discover as a developer, comparisons of themes, plugins, and web hosting, or tools you use daily as a WordPress developer. You want to really think, who is your target audience? If it's executives at bigger companies and you're trying to win these bigger companies as clients, maybe your tips are more about how to optimize your website and make it faster. Maybe people in these companies are frustrated with their current site performance and they're just doing a little bit of high-level research on how they can fix that. Or if you're targeting small business owners, you might want to go into a lot more depth on the beginner side of how to use WordPress, because maybe these business owners are contemplating the DIY route, or maybe just hiring someone to do their website, and that's a great way to reach that audience. And don't be afraid to explain the basics to your audience. This is something that I struggle with early on. I would think that if I already covered a concept in one video, I should never talk about it again because everyone clearly watches every single video I make, right? No, obviously not. With content that is tutorial based and research based, like reviews and comparisons, people tend to find your videos from search, whether that's on YouTube or Google, and they may only watch one video. Or if they get to know your name and your face and they keep coming back to your videos for different topics, they're still probably only watching your content when they need it. So they're not going to watch every video you make. And that's why you shouldn't be afraid to explain the basics in every single video. So, like in WordPress, that could be explaining a little bit about the basics of Gutenberg in every single video you make where you talk about building pages if it's a tutorial. You don't want to assume that someone already has that knowledge. If they do already have that knowledge, they'll probably just skip ahead in the video some, and that's okay. But if they don't have that knowledge, they're going to be really grateful that you took the time to explain that to them, because I see a lot of tutorial content and review content that just assumes people already have a certain level of knowledge, and you're going to end up losing that audience. They're going to click away if you're not willing to explain the basics to them. So, where can you use this strategy? Well, I prefer video, so I think the best platforms for that would be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also experiment with this on X. They're definitely introducing more long-form video tools and starting to emphasize that more. But for now, I think these 4 platforms are really worth investing your energy into. So let's cover some practical strategies on how you can do this as a business owner. For YouTube, it's really about finding your niche and knowing your target audience. I touched on this a little bit earlier, but will you make content for individuals, small business owners, executives at large corporations? Who are you trying to reach? This information will help guide the content that you need to make. You should put yourself into the mind of your target audience, or in this case, your target client. Now, once you've found your niche, think about the content that your audience wants to see. Does your content need to appeal to beginners? Are you speaking to executives? Again, I covered this a little bit earlier, so sometimes I forget at what point in my slides I put this stuff. But yeah, it's really important to just know who you're targeting with your content. Next, this is really important. If you take one thing away from this webinar, please let this be it. Don't sweat the gear or equipment that you have to work with. You don't need an expensive camera or expensive lighting to make good content. I hear this a lot as people who want to get started, or from people who want to get started with content creation. They'll say, Christian, what camera do I need to buy? What microphone do I need to buy? What lighting do I need to get? And they think that they have to make this gear investment first before they can make videos or before people will want to watch them. And that's simply not true. Sorry, I thought I had a slide on this, but honestly, you can start with whatever you have. Like, I started making content on an iPod Nano that had this little tiny horrible quality camera on it. I think most of us, if not all of us, have a smartphone. If you have a smartphone, just use that. It's perfectly good enough for your camera. And the great thing about software content is people really want to see your screen. Yes, they want to see your face as well because it helps to build that personality and trust with them. But they primarily probably want to see your screen because you're going to be showing them how to do things or covering different software products. So all you need is a high quality screen recorder. OBS is free. That's a great option. And a webcam, a smartphone, just something so that they can see your face. Now, the one caveat to the gear discussion is that your audio is the most important aspect of your video. Viewers can forgive grainy camera quality or poor lighting, but if they can't understand what you're saying, they're going to click away from your video. So I think it may be worth investing a little bit of money into an external mic. You don't need to spend a lot. You can find wireless mics like this one for $20 on Amazon that will plug into your phone. You can buy a USB mic for $30 to $50. That's going to be all you need. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on a mic, but it is investing something in your audio just to make sure that your audience can hear you clearly. So once you have the gear side down, it's important to spend the bulk of your time on researching the video and having high value content to offer. Your audience cares way more about walking away with valuable info rather than having fancy editing, motion graphics, or other gimmicks. Now, the one caveat here is if you're producing content that's short form for TikTok and Instagram Reels, it does need to be a little bit more fast-paced and flashy, and the on-screen captions do help with catching people's attention as they're scrolling by. But for the most part, with long-form educational content, you don't need to go crazy with the editing. You just need to make some basic cuts when you make mistakes. Sometimes it helps to zoom in on something if you're highlighting a button on the page or something that may be harder to see for the viewer. But other than that, don't spend too much time on animations or motion graphics or all this fancy editing. Instead, put your time into the research and make sure that you really feel good about the topic and the quality of content that you're offering to the viewer in that video. To find relevant topics, consider what's currently trending in the WordPress space. I like to use Google Trends and vidIQ to help me research topic ideas. Is there a theme that's currently trending? Is there a new plugin that just came out? Is there some new optimization method that everyone's talking about to boost your page speed score? These are all things that you can leverage to get a little bit more traction through search if you're talking about relevant topics that are currently trending. Now, next, you have to put some effort into your YouTube video's title and thumbnail. And this is where I would spend some time and effort. Instead of putting that into the flashy editing, this is worth investing time into. You could have the best video in the world, but if people don't click and watch, you're not going to reach anyone. And this is something that every content creator struggles with. Sometimes you spend hours and hours on a video and you're so excited for it, you're proud of your work, you put it out there and it flops. And unfortunately, a lot of that can be due to not having the right thumbnail and not having an engaging title. You want to go for a clear search-focused title, something that is following SEO best practices, has keywords. So I think for most of us in the WordPress space, the title side of things is going to be pretty easy. Most of us are comfortable with SEO. We understand the concept of keywords and targeting certain things. The thing that takes a bit more time is the thumbnail. You want to have a bit of emotion in your thumbnail. So if you're solving a problem, what kind of face can you show in the thumbnail to indicate that? If you're having an issue and it's really frustrating and you're helping the viewer solve that issue, how can you convey that frustration in your thumbnail? So the thumbnail, you want to lean a little bit more emotional, and then the title is going to be a bit more straightforward and targeted to search. Now, to optimize your title and description, use a tool like vidIQ. vidIQ helps you with YouTube SEO, so your video will rank higher for certain search keywords. If you've used Yoast SEO or all-in-one SEO for WordPress, vidIQ is like the same exact thing for YouTube Studio. It just helps you identify keywords and it helps you write your title and description in a way that maximizes the keywords and helps them rank better in search. Now, for more resources on building a YouTube channel, I would recommend checking out Roberto Blake, Think Media, and video creators on YouTube. These are all YouTube educators that have tons of tips on optimizing content, reaching more people, getting your first 1,000 subscribers, and they could give you a lot more insight than I could on the super specific intricacies of building an audience on YouTube. So let's talk about vertical shorts. What about the up-and-coming content format currently exploding on all social platforms? Whether it's TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, or YouTube Shorts, vertical short-form content is the future of social media. Now, vertical shorts rely heavily on algorithms to show content to users based on their natural interests. So it's a bit of a different approach than the search-based approach that you would take on YouTube. Vertical shorts perform well when you participate in current trends. I promise you do not have to do crazy dances or, all these silly things that you see on TikTok as trends. In fact, I've found that a good way to incorporate trends into WordPress content is by using trending sounds, trending formats, and trending hashtags. So for trending sounds, if you are a consumer of short form content, this is pretty easy because you're probably going to see certain sounds and songs that just keep coming up in your feed over and over. If there's a way that you can take that sound and make a WordPress related TikTok about it and use that sound, great, give it a shot, might as well. Same thing for formats. You might see a certain meme format or something that is coming up a lot in your feed as you scroll it. If there's a way that you can use that format and apply it to your niche, I would definitely recommend it. Same for hashtags, although that may be the least relevant with resource content, because you don't want to make a TikTok for WordPress and do some other trending hashtag that's completely unrelated just to try to get more traffic. Ultimately, you want to reach the right person, and that's probably just going to show your reel to people who aren't really interested in what you have to say. Now, vertical shorts also perform well when you give high quality information. And this really surprised me. When I was new to creating shorts, I thought that it had to be all about the trends, the sounds, the dances, just how can I entertain people and make them laugh and then maybe teach them a little something in the middle of all that. But I found that if I just made a 60-second reel talking about something that I knew a lot about, even really niche things like how to set up Cloudflare or why I like this particular WordPress host, those shorts got a lot of views as well. You can also see success with topical vertical shorts explaining concepts or doing mini comparisons. Now, hashtags matter with vertical shorts, so make sure to take advantage of them. Hashtag WordPress, hashtag web hosting, whatever it is that you're talking about, make sure that you put those in your captions. So now I want to talk a little bit more about how you can maximize your potential and start monetizing this content in other ways, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A. Now, there are so many ways to maximize your potential. Generating leads from your content is just one way to monetize your efforts. You can also participate in affiliate programs to earn commissions for WordPress themes, plugins, and web hosting. You can generate thousands of dollars from affiliate marketing depending on how you do this. So step one, I would go to the GreenGeeks affiliate program, sign up for it. They have one. That's a great way to get started with affiliate marketing. And there's so many ways to generate affiliate traffic: YouTube videos, your blog, all of your social content. Even many affiliate programs will allow you to get a commission if you're an agency and you are bringing in clients. Definitely check with each affiliate program because they all are going to have different terms on how you're able to use that link. But you should be able to get some sort of a referral fee for each client that you bring to them. Because I find when I have worked with clients, they ask me, what web host do you use? I kind of just say, oh, here's who I use. They go sign up for an account. Then I can start building their website for them, and I get a commission from that referral. You can also offer paid consulting for DIYers, enthusiasts, or seasoned users who just need to speak to an expert to help them with a problem. I've done this a lot as well. In fact, this is the number one way that I work with people outside of just creating content. They'll reach out to me, and sometimes I'll say, yeah, you can't hire me to make your website, but if you do want to try it DIY, I offer paid consulting. We can jump on a call. We can walk through some of the areas that you're stuck on or some of the questions you have. And that's a way to expand your reach as an agency. You may find people who aren't ready to hire out their website entirely, but they're happy to pay you for a call. And you may build relationships with those people to where 5 years down the road, they're launching a new business, or 2 years down the road, they're redoing their current website, and they decide, you know what, I'm ready to just hire this out to a professional. I have the budget. Now I don't have the time to handle it anymore. And you never know how building that relationship can help you down the road. You can also offer paid courses with detailed instructions on building a WordPress website, sort of the DIY track for that audience where they maybe don't have the budget to hire you to build their website, or they're really excited about going the DIY route. If you can build a course and you can sell it to them, they may be really satisfied getting that knowledge from you personally because they built that trust with you, and they're able to build their website as a result. And you can also monetize the content itself on YouTube through ads. You can monetize blogs, full-length YouTube videos, and YouTube Shorts with Google AdSense. Now, this is a long-term play because you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months before you can monetize on YouTube. So it's definitely something that takes a while to build up. It's also not the biggest income stream, even for full-time creators like myself. It tends to be the smallest chunk of income. but it is still a way that you can make some money through your content. You can also monetize Instagram and TikTok with product placement. So if there is a plugin or a theme or a web host that you work with a lot with your agency, you might be surprised at reaching out to them and seeing that they might be willing to sponsor an Instagram reel or a TikTok talking about their product and promoting it to your audience. Ultimately, sharing your knowledge and passion with your target client is key. That's what it's about. It's not rocket science. It's just making helpful content to educate people. You're going to build that trust with them. And eventually they're going to reach out and say, hey, can you help me? Or can I hire you? Because you really know what you're doing and I'm stuck or I don't have time to build my website myself. All right, now we can open it up for some Q&A. Let me get the Q&A window open here. I see there's one Q&A that's been submitted. There's also some questions in the chat that I will go back through and address. So starting
Yes,
with
yes. Let's start
John.
with the Q&A. Yes.
Yes. I clicked answer live. I don't know if that means John will speak or I can just read the question and answer it. But John asks, do you ever feel that you're making content that someone else already has? In other words, it's already out there, so what value do I bring? Yes, this is something that I've faced many times over the years of content creation. And the thing that I've found is people oftentimes care more about what you have to say about that topic than that they've maybe already seen another video on it or they've already heard some of that information. The other thing that I think about is you as a content creator have a unique angle and a unique spin on things that maybe someone else didn't cover. So when I do a comparison video, there might be 5 other comparison videos with the same 2 products, but there may be a different angle that I can take on how I cover the topic. I may also have a different conclusion or different opinion than most of the other videos. And I find as a consumer of content, I want multiple people's angles. I'll watch sometimes 3 tutorial videos on using a WordPress theme to see how 3 different people approach it. Or if it's a review or a comparison video, I'm going to watch 3 videos on the same thing because I want to get everyone's take and opinion and kind of see what are all the shared opinions of people, what are the places that people differ. And that really helps me as a consumer with making a purchasing decision or in the case of someone who's building a WordPress site, feeling confident proceeding with a certain tool. Daniel asks, what video editing software do you use? I use Final Cut Pro. I've used that for a couple years. I don't think that you need Final Cut Pro to get started. If you're a Mac user, I would say iMovie is a great place to start. For Windows, I'm a little bit rusty with Windows. I've been a Mac user for years, but I've heard a lot of people have success with Filmora. Right now, all my videos are edited in Premiere Pro. That's an Adobe product. Because now I have an editor and they just are comfortable in Premiere. That's what they know. But when I was editing or when I do have to edit the occasional video still, I use Final Cut Pro. Awesome. We've got a question from, oh, I thought there was a question from Kelly and then it disappeared. Did I accidentally? Yeah, I accidentally.
Let me see. Yes, Kelly, it's in the answered. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, okay, I see it. I sell dry fit shirts, beachwear. What possible content can I provide that isn't expensive to create or capture or license? Yeah, with e-commerce, that's a good question. I wonder, is there something that you can talk about with your products that would like, so who is your target customer and what are they thinking? What are they researching? Like, are there other brands of beachwear that maybe you could compare? And I know that seems crazy. Like, why would you talk about your competitors? But maybe if there's other brands that are popular and well known, you can just do some honest, genuine comparisons of those different products and then say, hey, by the way, I made my own product and it's way better for all these reasons, and here's why. And it's because I was frustrated with some of the downfalls of these other products. That could be a possible angle. I know e-commerce brands have also gotten a lot of traction making tips that will help their target audience. I'll be honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable in that world, but I think there's always an angle to create content and you don't have to spend a lot of money. In your case, you've already got the product that you're talking about, but yeah, you don't want to make the mistake of just making a bunch of videos on your own product because I think that's kind of like making all the posts as an agency of, hey, you can hire me to build your WordPress website, and that just doesn't seem to convert well. So hopefully that answers your question. If you want more detail or have a follow-up, just let me know in the chat. Michael asks, what is the best social media platform for posting videos from my business, a law firm with educational info for ideal client audience? I would heavily target YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, and I think for things like legal content, YouTube is where people are going to turn. Well, one, they're going to turn to Google search. Two, they're going to turn to YouTube. And YouTube is owned by Google. So when you upload a video to YouTube, Google has that video section of Google search. And it does pull in a lot of content from YouTube and puts it in Google search. So I would be really heavy on YouTube long form search based content, I think. You could also try some shorts as well, but if you really want to focus in on one platform and one strategy, I would make it be YouTube. Okay, Tristan asks, how do you recommend optimizing thumbnails? That is a great question. So, one thing that I think of with a thumbnail is I think of it like a billboard. There's often this temptation to put a lot of text, a lot of icons, a lot of elements in the thumbnail. And this is often because you might be designing it on your 24-inch or 27-inch monitor, and you're seeing the thumbnail this big in front of you. And you're like, oh, I'm going to put this versus this, which one is cheaper? And I'm going to have icons, and I'm going to have my face over here, and I'm going to have an explosion in the background. And it looks great to you at this size, but people see it at this size on their phone. So one thing I like to do, it's called the squint test. Take your thumbnail, shrink it down to the size of your phone, stand back from your screen and squint and look at it. And if you can't get the concept, if you can't make out the text, you need to make it bigger. If when it's bigger, there's too much text, you need to have less text. And if you can't like make out what that video is about by squinting and looking at the thumbnail smaller, you need to simplify it. The biggest thing that people do wrong with thumbnails is just overcomplicating it. The other thing I would say is try your best to not repeat the title in the thumbnail. This is something I did early on all the time. So if you're doing like an Elementor versus Divi comparison, you don't really need to put Elementor versus Divi, that text in the thumbnail. People see it in the title. They can get the idea from the thumbnail. Elementor and Divi both are strong brands, so people that know anything about WordPress are gonna recognize just the icon for Elementor, the icon for Divi. So you can use that space in the thumbnail to appeal more to their emotions, like uh, which one is better, or I can't believe the results, or something that's a bit more emotional, and then let the title speak for itself. Those would be my tips on thumbnail optimization. Daniel asks, where's the largest source of income from monetizing your content? How do you monetize on Instagram and Facebook besides advertising? As far as largest source of income, I think that depends largely on what your content is. For me, being in the educational niche, the biggest for me has been earlier on affiliate income from those affiliate programs. In recent years, it's been more sponsorships and just working with companies directly to feature their products in my videos. The YouTube ads have been, like I said earlier, just such a small chunk of my overall revenue. Depending on your niche, the YouTube ads can be a bigger chunk. In the educational niche, it tends to be a higher CPM, which is like cost per thousand, the amount of money that an advertiser pays per thousand views. But I would say probably for the majority of agencies, it's going to be the affiliate revenue that's the biggest chunk. And then as far as monetizing Instagram and Facebook, not through ads. I'm not sure if by ads you mean like their in-house advertising or like the sponsored content, because I would say really doing like sponsored posts is more or less all you can do on Instagram. You can't exactly link content easily. So I find trying to get affiliate programs to convert just doesn't work well on Instagram. You can say, "Oh, go to the link in my bio," but it's so much friction for someone to leave the post, go to your profile, go to the link in your bio, then tap the other link. So for Instagram, probably just going to be sponsored posts from brands hiring you to do that. Facebook would be sponsored posts, and you can also leverage affiliate links there since stuff is actually clickable. Nicole asks, how do you get your target audience's attention to actually follow you? A great strategy to do this is through search. If you can find a topic that people are searching for, but there's not a lot of videos on, and the vidIQ browser plugin that I mentioned earlier allows you to do this, you can just start searching YouTube for topics. How do I build a WordPress site? Elementor versus Divi, this plugin versus this plugin. And for every search term, it'll tell you the search volume versus the competition. And if you can find something with a high search volume and low competition, that means there's a lot of people that are curious about this topic, but there's not a lot of videos that have been created on that topic. And that is a great video to make because you're filling that gap in the market where you're providing something for people to watch who are interested. And with search-based content in particular, people are going to click if you made a video that they are researching. So it's you don't have to work so much to try to hook them to watch you specifically. You just have to make the video and it has to be there when they're looking for that specific topic. And as you build out your catalog and you have 10, 15, 20 videos over the first year of doing this strategy, you're going to start to get traction. And then in the long term, 2 or 3 years down the road, then people are going to start to see your face come up or your brand come up over and over as they search for different topics in the WordPress space. Like that's something I hear a lot from my audience is, gee, every time I search for something like what's the best web host or what's the best VPN or just like anything I search for, you have a video on it and you come up in search. It's like you're everywhere. And it's, I think, really because I try my best to think from the perspective of my target audience and say, what would they want to see? And if I'm succeeding at that, that means my target audience is constantly seeing me rank in search because they're searching all of the things that I figured they were probably interested in, if that makes sense. I think that is it for. Oh, we have another question. Awesome. And there's some stuff in the chat as well. Jim asks, how do you overcome people who don't want to click on a YouTube video because of the ads? So if you're referring to like the pre-roll ads that YouTube plays, there's really not much you can do about that. You can decide that you're just not going to enable monetization on your channel. And that's something you don't even have the option of doing until you hit 1,000 subscribers. So if you don't enable monetization, there's going to be less ads that play. You don't always get to control that though. YouTube changed their terms of service recently to say that even if you don't enable monetization through Google AdSense, they can still place ads on your video anyway. The only difference is they get 100% of the money and you don't see any of it. So if that's the angle you're approaching it from, I would say you can't, but the pre-roll ads are everywhere on YouTube. So if that's going to stop someone from watching your video, that's probably going to stop them from watching everybody's YouTube video, and they probably just aren't a big consumer of YouTube in general. Now, if you're referring to sponsored ads, like when you as a creator do a deal with a company and say, hey, this video is sponsored by XYZ, if you're worried about losing viewers with that, that is a legitimate possibility and something that does happen. In that case, I would try to negotiate with that brand, placing the ad in the middle of the video. So you've already created some value to the viewer through the organic content. You integrate it well in the middle of the video or even the end of the video. Because, yeah, if you're just front loading the beginning of your video with some 60-second pitch for the brand that sponsored it, people are just going to click away. Nicole asks, from having a target audience that is from Instagram, is there a way to search for the search to content ratio? I'm not super knowledgeable on search to content ratio with Instagram. Most of my background and strategy comes from YouTube and a little bit on TikTok. So just to be transparent, I don't know a ton about Instagram, and I'm not sure on the analytics side where you would find that. Okay, there's a couple things in the chat here. I want to make sure that we've covered everything.
Yeah.
Let's
There was
see.
there's a comment from someone on the t-shirt. Someone was asking about some monkey dog fun about the dry fit shirts.
Oh yeah, I see
There's
it.
a comment from Barbara saying that she just bought one and she would have loved to have more information about this t-shirt with the comparison you were talking about.
Yeah. See, I mean,
That's
perfect
a,
example. Someone just bought one of your shirts because they found it interesting. And I think when you're able to just be super genuine with your audience and say, look, I'm going to show you everybody's product, you're really going to gain their respect instead of just making commercials essentially for your own products. Kelly says YouTube and LinkedIn for law. Yeah, I think that's a great idea to approach LinkedIn as well.
yep.
Jim Nelson, what kind of social media are you going to use? Okay, I think that's a follow-up to someone else's question.
Yeah, to some comments in the chat.
Yeah.
So, Christian, before I let everybody go, I guess the main thing you're coming across with is that on these channels you don't have to sell yourself. You just create value and share knowledge, and that's how you get followers and followers on the various channels. This is what I get. Am I getting
Absolutely.
it correct?
100%. Yeah. It goes so much further to just make content that educates your audience instead of just the constant, like, we're doing a sale or you can hire us to do this. I see a lot of companies, not just agencies, but companies in general, that when I open their Twitter feed or their Facebook feed, that's all I see. The only time they ever post is when they have a sale or just a reminder on how you can work with them. And there's nothing wrong with that on occasion, but you're just going to lose people if that's all you ever post.
Yes, that's so what I was trying to say is that what you're saying applies to all kind of businesses, not just agencies or WordPress related.
Absolutely,
Any
yes,
business. Okay,
for
great.
sure. Yeah, so
And yeah,
I've got a QR code here if you want to save a copy of the slides. I'll leave that up for a few more seconds. And then my last slide is just where you can find me if you want to follow me. So I'll switch to that slide now. Hopefully you've had a chance to scan the QR code for the slides. And my keyboard's dying on me. There we go. Here's where to find me. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X. Feel free to shoot me a DM if you have any more questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And that's all I have. So thank you
thank you.
everyone for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Erica, for your help. And keep watching our webinars in the future. You can find them at greengeeks.com/webinars. We'll also be emailing everyone a link to new webinars tutorial. New webinars coming up soon. And thank you, Christian, very much for your presentation.
You're
We will
welcome.
see
Thanks for
you.
having me.
We will see you
Thank you,
soon.
Christian. And thank you, Anna.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.